Is the Sony A7 IV worth the upgrade from the A7 III? Yeah. Now you may be either thinking about upgrading from your A7 III, or you're looking at both these cameras and trying to decide if the A7 IV is worth the extra money. And I'm here to help you by sharing my experience, considering that I own the A7 III for what, 3-4 years, and I recently upgraded to the A7 IV and shot a couple things on it, and I can give you my honest opinion. Hey, I'm Courtney, and I'm a freelance DP and photographer in Southern California, and I produce everything from YouTube videos like this one to music videos, documentaries, concert photography, and everything in between. And for the last 4 years, I've been using the A7 III as my hybrid camera of choice, and I've made several videos about the A7 III, and I'll link those down below in the description. But today, let's talk about why I decided to upgrade to the A7 IV. Now, the number one reason is color. Now, there are really just a few things that excited me about the A7 IV, and the biggest one was 10-bit color, S-Cinetone, and S-Log3 Cine. Now, my main camera that I film almost everything on is my Sony FX9, and the A7 III really just did not match really well with that. And I could never use it as a B cam, and oftentimes when I needed a B cam, I had to actually rent an A7 IV or an FX3 or something like that to match with my FX9. Now I don't have to. With the A7 IV, I get 10-bit color, I get the updated color science with S-Cinetone, and it matches pretty closely with the FX9 with a little bit of tweaking, much easier than matching my A7 III footage. Having a smaller camera that I could just take with me to film family videos or small projects offers a ton of value for me. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my FX9 and it will remain my A camera, but to be able to pick up a small camera and just go grab a quick shot for a project is extremely valuable. Now, I wouldn't say that 10-bit color is a real deal breaker or that you need it to create content. I'm mostly just speaking from the standpoint of someone that has the ability to match it with other cameras. Having the ability to shoot 10-bit and have the updated color science is pretty valuable for me. By all means, the Sony A7 III is still a viable option for anyone out there that's just looking to get into full frame mirrorless cameras and you just want to start creating. You don't need 10-bit, but it helps in my situation. Honestly, enough can't be said about how necessary the improvement of color was coming from the A7 III. Now, this was the single biggest reason I switched to the A7 IV. Now, let's talk about how it feels in hand. Let's talk about the ergonomics. Now, I have to admit that I have really never had any issue with the Sony A7 III's grip or ergonomics because I've always used an extended grip, and that's kind of, saved me. I have big hands, so having an extended grip helps out a lot, and also I shoot a lot of stuff in portrait, so not having to move my arm like this all the time is pretty handy. But it's kind of like you don't miss what you've never had, and when I held the A7S III and felt the new grip design, I realized that I had been deprived. Like, I still use the battery grip because it's more, to hold on to. Like I said, I have big hands, and it helps me get a more stable footage, and the added battery life is a plus. But the extended grip, having it push out more, it's more meaty, it's just better. The first thing I noticed when holding the A7 IV is the build materials and how it feels just a bit more tactile. I love the dial system. Everything just feels purposeful, and I love it. Sony says that it's made, from a heat dissipating graphite. And that sounds cool, but it's probably just fancy plastic, but the grip feels a bit deeper, giving me more to hold on to. It's still a little short, for my big hands, but it does inspire a little more confidence when filming, just having that extra grip to hold on to. Another huge benefit to upgrade to the A7 IV over the A7 III is the flip out screen. Now, this is extremely valuable and something that I have been wanting for a very long time. Especially useful in the scenarios where I have it like on a top-down rig or on a slider. I can easily pivot the screen so that way I can compose the shot properly and see what's going on. Yeah, this is super handy. The flip out screen, it's not the largest screen out there, but it helps for general composition so that way you can know where things are in the shot. This is the one feature that every camera should come with in modern day, and the new monitor that's on the A7R5 is another level. Adding the tilt swivel transformer, that's nuts. But yeah, the flip out screen is a huge plus. A couple other things that just jumped out to me when using the A7 IV versus the A7 III that I absolutely love is the new wheel system. The switching from photo to video to S&Q is clutch, especially when you lock in your settings to where it doesn't change depending on what mode you're in. It helps me be super efficient. I love it. I used to use the custom profiles like 1, 2, and 3, but now I really don't use those at all. I could of course program those as well if I wanted to shoot in like HLG or have a HDR format, or you know, any other weird profiles I want to set for photography or video. But just having this quick dial is super clutch. I love that. The one thing that I will say that I don't like about the A7 IV is the fact that it eats batteries. Like the Z batteries on the A7 III would last me forever. I will go through an entire concert on one battery. I will go through an entire music video on one battery, and like I'm talking like 8-hour shoots, 10-hour shoots. The Z battery was phenomenal on the A7 III. This A7 IV eats batteries, and I don't know if it's probably due to like you know, the higher codecs, the higher megapixel rating. I don't know what it is, but it just eats up batteries. So you kind of really just need the grip on here. To have 2 batteries housed is a plus. I'd really just had the grip before on the A7 III for the added ergonomics, you know, being able to, like I said, have the portrait mode and just have more to hold on to. But the extended grip on this camera is almost necessary just for the added battery life. I can't say it enough. This thing eats batteries. It's crazy. So I have 4 Z batteries on hand, and I normally end up, after, you know, just getting B-roll shots or you know, filming a video, I'll go through a battery in like 3 hours, 3-4 hours. It's kind of crazy. So having the second battery in there is a plus, and then I just take them both out and charge them up, and then swap out the other 2 that are fully charged. But yeah, battery grip is a must on this camera. Also, the battery grip helps with overheating. So overheating was an issue for me early on before I changed the heat setting to high. After I changed it to high, I had no overheating issues. I would have overheating in like 4K 60 and S&Q, and when I do top down, normally I have the camera close to the light, so it kind of heat up the back, but the screen is open, but it still, you know, heats up the sensor, heats up the battery. And after turning on the high setting, no issues with overheating whatsoever. So I'm very happy to report that that setting fixes all overheating issues. I think they were just probably overcautious with the heat setting on here. Also, having the extended grip helps with overheating as well. So you're taking the battery out of the body, which of course we all know that the batteries heat up, and that contributes to the heating on the camera body. So having them kind of away from the camera body helps out a bit. I would say overall for me, the A7 IV was a worthy upgrade because I got the most out of the A7 III. Like I said, I used it for 4 years. I did everything from product photography, concert photography, wedding photography, engagement photos, family photos, music videos. I filmed all kind of stuff on the A7 III. And after using the FX9 and, you know, an actual cinema camera or a newer Sony camera with the updated color science, I just needed a hybrid camera that had the updated color science that I could use as a B cam. And a lot of times I use this for B-roll. Like I'll capture B-roll with this camera and it matches very well. I can use the same LUTs from my FX9 on the A7 IV. It's like a variation of the LUTs. I use the Phantom LUTs. So I use the A7, well, I think they have one for A7S3 FX6 that matches with the A7 IV, and I use the FX9 Phantom LUTs for the FX9, but the color science is spot on. And I love the Phantom LUTs. They give you the RE look. If you guys never use them, check them out. They have them for Canon, Sony. They're amazing. The guy that makes them is a genius. But the A7 IV was a necessary upgrade for me. Now, if you're looking to get into full frame mirrorless cameras and you can find a really good deal on A7 III or A7C, get it. I mean, if you're just looking to do some photos and videos, you don't have to worry about matching with any newer cameras. Just get an A7 III. If you want the updated color science, you want a 10-bit, you want you know, the flip out screen, you want a lot of the other features that I described to you in this video. The A7 IV, of course, is your go-to camera, but I do believe that this is probably the best well-rounded hybrid camera package. I also do like the new media. I will say that the CF Express Type A cards are dumb expensive, but the read-write speeds, 800 megabits per second, like I can transfer all 80 gigs in like 2-3 minutes. It's crazy how fast it is. The menu systems are vastly improved over the A7 III. I love the new menu system. They give you a lot of options with Sony cameras, and it's kind of intimidating for a lot of people out there that use Canon or Fuji or Blackmagic because there's just so settings to go through, but they've organized it a lot better with the new menu system on the A7 IV, the FX3, the A7S III. The new menu system is amazing. Although I really wasn't too mad at the A7 III menu system. A lot of people say they hate Sony menus. It's like, with all these custom buttons, I rarely go into the menu anyway. And then also, if you use it enough, you get used to it, you know? So don't worry about all those nitpicky, you know, things that people bring up about cameras. Menu system, you can get over. Color science is subjective. You know, just if it's 10-bit, it's 10-bit. If it shoots log, it shoots log. You can manipulate the color in post. You're shooting raw photos. It doesn't matter about color science too much, about like the Canon look or the Sony look. None of that crap matters. Just get the tool that works for you. At the end of the day, whatever works for you, whatever camera it is, get that. But the A7 IV works for me, and it might work for you too. But that's all I have on this camera. It was worth the upgrade for me. Until next time, guys, stay fresh. Peace.